One of my biggest desires as a working professional is financial stability. I want to be able to afford, not just the basic things in life. I also want to be able to afford the luxuries in life and also be able to afford, for those around me that need, help from time to time. And so for me, having to get a nice job, get the required skill that allows me to get paid well has always been a top priority for me. And for a good period of time, it's worked really well. I've been in the corporate field for over 16 years and I've seen a lot of growth, financially for myself. But over time, I've become to think, does having a career actually give me that financial stability that I desire? In the course of my 16 years, I have worked, on contract jobs. I've worked as a full-time, and I've seen that void happen over and over again. When I was a contractor, it was even kind of worse because sometimes you have just 3 months contract, 6 months contract, or a year contract. And when that time is about coming to an end, you're in a friends where you're wondering, oh my goodness, when am I going to get the next job? Will I get that job quickly? How will my bills get paid? And all of those overwhelming feelings just kind of consume you during those last few weeks of your contract. Now, on the other end, when you have a full-time job, it seems a bit okay, right? Because you feel like you're going to be in this job almost forever until something happens to that organization or, something happens to the economy and your job is no longer safe. So whether it's contract or full-time, I've come to realize that I still cannot get that financial stability that I desire. Now, over the course of the years, I think also because of the fact that I was able to start a business, I then began to have a better understanding of an employee. Because at the end of the day, an employee is just an expense. At the end of the day, even though you're a valuable expense to that organization, every organization wants to keep the expenses down and improve or increase their profit margin. And that's okay because that's why they're in business at the end of the day. And so me realizing that I am an expense to these organizations, and no matter how much value I bring to these organizations, times will always change, and I might not always be in control of situations. Sometimes we've left jobs not because we want to, but because we're let go. Other times we've left because we didn't have a choice, we didn't like the environment, or whatever the case might be. Other times we've actually even stayed stuck in jobs because if we leave, we don't know where the next meal is coming from, or we don't even know how our bills will get paid. All of this reality made me realize that there is still one skill that I may be missing in order to secure myself financial stability. And that one skill that I've come to realize is my ability to create wealth, where I'm able to determine how to make my own money, and that money is not dependent on an employer. That money is not dependent on, factors like, a paycheck. And I noticed that until I am able to create wealth for myself, I might not be financially stable. And I realized that when it comes to creating wealth, it's quite different from when you're working, right? Because when you have a job or when you're trying to secure a job, what you do is you get that skill, you update your resume, you start applying for jobs, and eventually you find that job that pays really well with great benefits, and you keep going to work every day to ensure that you're able to retain that job. But on the flip side, if you have to create wealth, there's a different type of skill set that is needed for that to happen. You've got to have the ability to think about ideas. What do you want? How do you want to create this wealth? What stream of income are you looking to bring your way? Are you trying to invest? Are you trying to start a business? If you're trying to start a business, you have to think about the idea. You have to do your research. You have to register your business. You have to learn how to market. You have to learn how to sell. And it's like a whole different world. But this skill set is one important skill set that we all need to have, especially for you as a working professional that really desires financial stability. Now, if you don't care about your financial status and you feel like, you know what, anything goes, you're good with it, then probably this video may not be for you. But if you're like me, as a working professional who desires to be stable, who desires to enjoy the luxuries of life, where you don't want to feel stuck, where you don't want to feel like if you don't work, you're not going to earn money, then it's very important for you to start thinking about your financial stability. And one of the ways for you to actually get that financial stability is for you to create wealth for yourself. Now, I'm sure you're wondering now, when it comes to wealth building, what are the ways that I can create wealth? Now, you're in good luck because you at least have a job, which means that you have at least one stream of income. But we know that that one stream of income is most likely not going to be enough because we're not in control of that stream of income. And for us to create wealth, we have to be in control of our income streams. And so at this point in time, there are various options that you possibly can consider. For me, one of the options that I considered was real estate. I remember a few years ago when I started to earn good money, I was like, you know what? I've got to put this money somewhere. And I know that just putting that money in a bank is not going to give me any benefit. And so one of the things that I decided to do was go into real estate where I could get my first rental property. Now, getting your rental property has a whole lot of learning that you have to go into. You have to learn how that works, the right location, all of the money you're going to have to pay down and whatnot, and all of the things you have to do. But that is one thing that you can begin to consider as you want to build and generate your own wealth. Now, another thing that you could consider, which I also considered, was to start a business. Now, starting a business can be very tricky because you have to figure out the right business to start. You have to figure out the market and figure out all of those things. But one thing I like to tell you is it's never too late for you to get started now, because when you get started today, while you are employed, you have that luxury of time. You have that luxury of at least one source of income coming your way, which then gives you the ability to be able to learn and grow and see how that business goes. Now, I know that there are other multiple streams of income that you can generate, such as investing in stocks and other things, but I am just going to be speaking about the ways that I have tried and what is working out for me and what I'm hoping could also work out for you. Now, while I do not want this video to be very long, I want you to focus on how you can create wealth for yourself and what are the possible things out there that you can do to build another stream of income for yourself. Because I will tell you that that job cannot provide you financial stability. That job is not guaranteed. We have all seen how the world has changed so much in the last few years. We went from COVID to a financial crisis. We went through inflation, and salaries did not get increased anyway. So how are we even going to cope with the constant inflation that is happening? And this has really become one of the major reasons why, as a working professional, you've got to start thinking about your financial state. You've got to start thinking about your finances and how you can grow and find that true stability. You work really hard and you have every right to be financially stable. Now, one of the things that stands as a benefit when it comes to wealth creation is you get to gain more confidence. Do you know the feeling when you can create your own wealth, when you're not totally dependent on an employment that can go away tomorrow? Do you know that kind of confidence that comes to it, where you can wake up in the morning and you know that even if the job you have today goes, you know how to generate income for yourself and not just necessarily, dust your resume and apply for a job and waiting for miracle to happen. Now you are able to create your own future because you're able to determine where your next meal will come from. You're able to determine where your source will come from. You're able to create a source that will never run dry. Do you know how satisfying that could be? And that's what I want you to think about today as a working professional. I want you to think about the luxuries that you can experience. I want you to think about the freedom that you can experience. I want you to think about the stability that you can build financially when you begin to create wealth for yourself. So I hope that today's video has got you thinking as a working professional that the time is now for me to start building my future. And the best way for me to be financially stable is for me to create my own wealth. So the question I want to leave with you today is, what type of wealth do you want to create? And when do you want to start creating that wealth? I hope that you think about creating that wealth right now, starting from today. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. And if you love this video, kindly hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and most importantly, share this video with your friends. I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye for now.